come towards the church, or walk down towards the church of Hellingly, there's a nice display of the old English carriages. And also, we've got the display of ferries as well down there. So, walk around and enjoy the day. Thank you. Congratulations to David Ford for finishing up on David Ford. He's man of track. He's doing this show pretty well as long as I have. And I know I was here yesterday. He had so many yesterday. Wonderful information. I'm interested. I heard him say about that offer that's just going out now. And it was, he said it was an arrangement with Thornycroft now, the Lodge Wheel. Many people have got the old thinking for it, offer a load car, but I've never seen one of those before. David said it's quite rare. We've got a steam wagon in the arena now. It's a 16 scale Foden 5-tonner. But it's coming up to 11:30, and I've got some commercial vehicles for you to have a look at coming in. Quick rundown if you haven't got a programme, what's happening. We've got, seems to be going reasonably fine at the moment. Commercial vehicles at 11:30 and minute down, followed by motorcycles. This was part of about over, I think it was 2,000 of them they made, and it was made for the civil defence during the Cold War period. Those of us that are old enough to remember that, it was a problem that, of course, the towns and cities, main cities would have been devastated, your railway lines and communications, but the one thing would have been needed was water, drinking water and water to put out the fires. And the idea was that these were fire pumpers. They could pump several thousands of gallons a minute. In fact, I know Neville always says this, he can empty an average size garden swimming pool, not a paddling pool, a swimming pool, in 15 minutes. And they were stretched out. The idea was that they'd be in a big convoy and they'd be stretched out at various points right across the country, sort of Land's End to John O'Groats. And you could pump with the aid of hoses, because there was a whole lot of other vehicles that went with this, the bikini units, the hose carriers, pump from a reservoir, say down in the west of England or up in Yorkshire, and bring water down. They came into service then, run by the military. They're not, as I said, for the kids. An F27 in the programme of this ERFKV 8-wheeler. This is a standard lorry. This is the heavy lorry. Before we started with the heavy Arctics, you know, tucked under the pillow, read with a torch at night, then that would be the one that brought it. And here's a nice little Bedford O series. They were the leader, if you like, of the Bedford range, because it's a Scammell Trunker 2, isn't it? I was saying yesterday, the handyman is the sort of Arctic, and then you've got the Rootman, which was Michelotti design cab, and we'll see later on several of the Scammels, I think. They were known for their Ian with his little A35, so he had to give him a point. TIR on the back there. That was the early sign, meant that it was of Newbies of Newhaven on the side, but it's a left-hand drive. So you think, oh, it's just probably an imported Mercedes that they didn't change or something. No, it was ordered as a left-hand drive because, as you can see on the side, it says Europe and the Middle East. The Trans-Pennine Rally with an old vehicle, but that was someone run. You've done that car for changeover. I've not heard of that one. That's a long way to go to start with.
Doesn't happen there, no. And this is all British.
Yeah, the Scammell Highwayman, and as you can see, it's very traditional. It's got all this lot together. Marvellous job, Dave. Hello. There's a whole family of friends in the back there. Lovely. This is probably your first ride in this one, isn't it? No, you've been in it before, because I was talking about that little tipper, which is the O series. And if you look at the cab, it's exactly the same. But this is the OW, which was built by Bedford in the wartime for the army, and it had this very plain, what we call austerity front. Otherwise, not a lot of difference. Mechanically, exactly the same. They built them for the army, and then an Arctic version, and they went on into civilian service after the war because you just couldn't get by another Swiss company, Sauer. Marketed over here as Armstrong Sauers. This one, of course, is an all-Swiss Berner. Everything about it is made in Switzerland to a very high standard. But they did come over here, as you say, these were the Armstrongs, weren't they? No, it was the Saurers that were Armstrongs. Any rally site in Great Britain, I know because, let's be honest, I've done a few. And it's the top end of the heavy haulage trade. It's right at the end of Scammell Unipower. Listen to this, coming. This vehicle on its own at 200 tonnes gross, so it will pull that, thank you, yeah, right. And then a lorry which is close to my heart because I own sort of half of it. With my son, we bought it together. It was a lorry that I remember going back when it was delivered in 1959. To a firm called Walter Llewellyn and Sons of Pride. We do need to do a repaint. That rather ugly block of concrete on the back spoils it a bit, but the clutch is all in a different place. Well, it hasn't got one. You've got, yeah, and the middle, well, you just put it in and you put the middle one down and she starts to go backwards. You just want to know, when you get in this, you want to know what you're doing. It's 1925. Well done, nice. Yeah, tell us all about it.
Thank you, David. Yeah, when I took over the commercials, I inherited a cup from Basil Butler, which was presented to the Hellingly commercial that I felt was the best one on show today. And it's very, very difficult because they're all absolutely magnificent. But I would like to award the Les Henson Cup. It goes back an awful long time on this show, 40 plus years. If Wayne Ruff would come out with his cab, with his little Bedford, and I'll present you with the commercial cup for this year. It's a smashing little Bedford. It's one better if I decided I'd like another one.
Something I do like to see in a lorry, and you can't beat this one. Really nice. So I'm pleased the gentleman's got it. Next to you, you're sitting right next to that spoiler with that amount of pressure on the booklet casing per square inch, that is, 280 pounds. The brakes are on the lorry. We'll probably end up with a big skid mark across the arena, but don't worry, we won't tell them that, won't tell them. And beginning to fall. Now we can see what's happening is the lorry is actually the other way around. The lorry is digging up the ground because he's now pulling 22 tonnes against the brake. That's really doing some work. See that the lorry's pulled right back into it. It's dug right into the ground now, the steam lorry. And it's working quite hard. The gears are going around quite slowly. You can listen to it. You listen to it chuffing.
You didn't have no trouble screwing that?
Got his brakes on.
Right?
Got his brakes on.
Every time there's a chuff, that means the cylinder's gone in and out once. Just turn once, and that's turning the gears. Obviously, it's a gear down machine. And each time that's turning, the gears are here. You can see them on this side. Oh yes, the gears are beginning to complain a little bit, aren't they? It's not slipping though, but it really is working hard. Those gears don't like it, do they? Fortunately, it's dug right into the ground. We've had it before where the wheels come up on the ground wheelie fashion, really, because they're pulling really hard against it. Make it look easy, but believe me, if you're standing here next to it, you can see just how it's working. Making sure that one of the teeth in the gears is going to come flying off in a minute. I don't think it will, but it's really working hard. Just picking up a bit of speed now. Well, it's nearly there, and it's picked up. Of course, it's got most of the winch rope round the winch now. Very much can rely on you. It's precision, you see, instantly, all that.
Oh, was he? Yeah.
Oh, look at this, many people ginger dandies over there.
Land Rover, this is what I call the drops Land Rover. These are the lightweight version of the Land Rover. Slightly, what can you tell us? It's Darryl from the Royal Country Show. Don't put that date in your diary for next year. It's Darryl's work, as he says, it's a workhorse, and it is too. Very useful piece of kit. Go right the other side of this because we've got another US Army vehicle.